Welcome. I see you guys all saying hi in the chat. It's good to see you guys. Hope your summer's been going well. Welcome to our Pro Singer Career Accelerator Breakthrough Masterclass. If you don't know me, I'm Arden Kaywin. And while we are waiting for everyone to join, I have a little getting to know you poll. I'm going to launch it right now in the chat. Right here. Hang on. Okay, here we go. And this is just to help us get to know the kinds of things that you're working on, the things that are your goals, the things that are issues. It's just a little multiple choice. Take, 30 seconds while we're waiting for everybody else to join, and give us a little more information about your singing and what you're up to, because I will look at this after this session today and go through. And if I see, wow, everybody here is really dealing with X, or everybody here is really dealing with Y, then I will make sure to speak to that and to address that. So go ahead and answer. Can you guys see it? I hope. Ash, let me know in the chat if you can see the poll. Make sure we can. And I am also, while we're just waiting for the last few stragglers to join, going to go into my settings, because Zoom tends to like to move my audio around every time it updates. So I want to make sure you guys can hear me good. Okay. And so while you guys are filling this out, I just want to say welcome to every one of you. I know a lot of you may have had connect calls with Amy, who's our amazing studio concierge. Some of you may have been in our workshops before. And we're going to spend the next 7 days really digging down into a lot of the stuff that has been plaguing your singing and what's been going on with your voice and your career. I see you guys are filling out the poll. Thank you so much for getting to that. And if you're just joining us, I have launched a little poll to get to know you guys a little better. So you'll see it in the Zoom. So just go ahead and fill that out. But I'm so excited to see all of you here, because, these workshops that I do from time to time is really because, like, we train singers here in a very different way. And I want you guys to, like, get some really great breakthroughs and recognize that, oh my gosh, like, traditional training maybe isn't the way for me. And now if you've experienced something a little bit different, and it's so much more powerful when I can just, like, be in it with you and show you. So welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Go ahead and fill out the poll if you're working on it. And we will also launch it tomorrow. And if you finish with it, I'm super curious. Tell me in the chat what part of the country or what part of the world you guys are in. So I split time between Los Angeles and Colorado. I happen to be in Colorado right now. Hey, Billy, it's good to see you. I see Billy in the chat. Billy's in New York City. Donna's in Minneapolis. Nice. Nash Vegas. Who is in Nashville? We got Virginia. We got Massachusetts, San Diego, a bunch of LA, Arizona. Ooh, Egypt. Oh, hey, Sally. I know who Sally is. We got DC, Long Island, Florida. Oh my God, you guys, I love this. So we work with singers like all over the world, and it's super cool when you recognize that, like, we have a London, that's amazing. Long Island, I was just there visiting family in Long Island, believe it or not. We have Canada. You guys, we have singers like all over the world, which really I want you to use as, like, a comfort, that you're going to know that, like, as the issues come up that you're dealing with, to know that, like, you're not alone in all of this, right? There's singers all over the world who are struggling with the exact same thing. So thank you guys for filling out the little poll. If you are not clear on what I'm talking about, it's because you joined after I launched it. No worries, we'll launch it again tomorrow. So I am going to end the poll. So go ahead and finish up what you're working, where you're working with it. And we're going to dive in. All right. So as I said, this is our Pro Singer Career Breakthrough Accelerator workshop. And we're going to get started. And I want you guys to buckle up, because over the next 7 days, I'm going to train you on what I consider to be the major pillars that you need in order to bridge the gap between exceptional talent and exceptional success with your singing, in whatever that looks like for you. So we're talking about teaching you how to tap into 100% of your potential to unleash the truth of your talent so you become bulletproof. You know what I mean by that? Bulletproof in your technique, in your mindset, in your impact, so that every single time you step onto that stage, whether it's auditions, performances, recording sessions, you give the kind of reliable and unforgettable performances that break you through to those elite opportunities that you really want, and you just keep them coming, okay? And by the way, guys, it does not matter what genre you sing, whether you are an opera singer, a pop singer, musical theater, jazz, R&B, country, it doesn't matter. Whatever genre you sing, you have gotten this far in your singing career and singing journey because you've already got some foundations that have taken you this far. But the next 7 days is about teaching you how to access that last maximum potential of your voice and your energy and your technique and your artistry and your impact so that you stand out from the competition and can go out there and achieve the big opportunities and the big paychecks that you really want with your singing in the second half of this year. So we are halfway done with 2020 now, more than halfway done. I just said 2020, 2025 now, more than halfway done. And I know that a lot of you have been struggling and have been frustrated because you're just not seeing the results that you want in your singing career, and with the goals that you have, despite everything that you've been doing. And so if you don't want the remainder of 2025 to look exactly the same as the first half, and you don't want this whole year to look like 2024 and 23 and the last 5 years with the same frustrations, the same disappointments continuing to just replay, then guys, now is not the time to coast. It is not the time to coast, because I know it's summer and we're doing all these things, but like how you show up right now and what you activate and how you up level in the next 2 to 3 months has a direct effect on the results that you will create in the remainder of this year. So that's what we're going to get into over the next 7 days. So a little bit of housekeeping first. So guys, this is session 1, and the sessions and the trainings, they build upon each other. So if you have to come late or leave early or miss a day, watch the replay as soon as possible. We send out emails after every session that has a link to watch the replay, so make sure you do that. And FYI, the replays are only available through the week of the training, so they disappear on Sunday night after we're done, okay? So if you have to miss or come late or whatever, just like that night, make that commitment to yourself that I'm in it to win it, and I'm gonna watch the replay so that I can stay on top of the training for the next day. We have provided you with a masterclass workbook. Does everybody have their masterclass workbook? Tell me in the chat. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, it means you don't have it, and Ashley is going to put the link in the chat for you. And this is where you can download our masterclass workbook. So make sure you open it now. You can use it to take notes. All of the practice content, all of the exercises, the MP3s we're giving you, PDFs we're giving you, and all of the homework stuff that we're giving you is there. So if you don't have it, make sure you download it now. You guys will hear me referring to Ashley a lot. Ashley's my assistant. She's our operations director. She's my brain half the time. So be kind to her, because without her, none of this works. Okay. From time to time, I will be asking for volunteers and guinea pigs to sing and coach on a particular tool that I'm giving you. And so we will use the raised hand function. So it's at the bottom of your Zoom screen in reactions. It's a little heart. If you click on the heart, you can see the thing that says raise hand. And that's how we'll be taking volunteers if you would like to coach and sing live while we're over the course of the week. Okay, now this is really, really important, because we will be having volunteers to get up and coach and sing. For those who are doing that, you guys, this has to be a safe space. This is my number one value, that this is a safe space where we encourage vulnerability and bravery. And I have a zero tolerance policy for any meanness, any criticism, any judgment in the chat, okay? This is the place where you get to experiment and fall down and get up and be buoyed by your peers. So if for any reason there is stuff going on in the chat that is unacceptable, we will give you a warning and we will ask you, and Ashley will eject you from the meeting if it's not heeded. I will tell you that we rarely, if ever, have to do this because this is one of my highest held values. So please help me uphold this value over the course of the next 7 days. Okay, let's see what else. Oh, last business before we get started. We are doing a scholarship contest at the end of this workshop. So if you come to every single day of the workshop over the next 7 days and you don't miss a single one, then at the end of our time together, you will be eligible to throw your hat in the ring for a huge surprise scholarship for our flagship intensive training program. And I'll be announcing all the details on that later in the week in our Friday session. But if that's something that you're interested in, do not miss, get here. Okay, guys, that's all the housekeeping. Let's get down to business. I want to talk about impact. So let's talk about impact. So there's a thing that I have watched happen over and over again with really talented singers, and it's something that I call the impact gap. And the impact gap is when you go and you record something, or you do an audition, or you do a performance, and you're on stage and in that audition and you feel like you are just like bringing it, or you release a record and you just felt like you were just like, you just brought it. And then you don't get the role if it was an audition, or you only get like 10,000 plays on your single or something. And there's a gap between the impact that you felt in that moment of that recording or that audition that you felt you were making, and the impact that's actually happening on the audience. There is a gap between what you are doing and what they are receiving, okay? And I want to help you today to understand why you don't book the elite gigs that you want as consistently as you want, why you release records and you don't get mainstream attention because of them, despite everything you're doing, despite all your vocal training, despite all of the hustle. And I want to talk about the first breakthrough that you need in order to fix it, okay? And this is what it is. It is the number one thing that traditional training has never taught you. Nothing else, you guys, nothing else that I teach you over the course of this week will matter without first getting a deeper understanding of the mind and the body connection in singing. This is the number one thing traditional training does not teach and has never taught you. And it is the number one breakthrough that facilitates the impact that you want, closes that gap, and then facilitates everything else that gets you into that journey and that career that you want to go. So let's dive into this, okay? So make sure you have your Masterclass workbook handy to take notes. So let me start first by just putting out there that the majority of you all here in this amazing group today fall into one of two categories. Either you are already a professional singer, and for our purposes, what that means is you're already being paid to sing, or paid for your recordings, or paid to perform. So you're already a professional singer, but the really elite gigs, the big paychecks that you want, they're still going to someone else. You've hit a ceiling, and you don't know what more you can do to break through to that elite level in your career. So that's one. The other is you are not a professional singer yet, but you are a serious singer who is at that point in your vocal journey, your vocal career, where given the amount of time and money you have spent on expert vocal training and the amount of hustling and recording and auditioning and performing and practicing and putting yourself out there that you're doing all the time every day, You should be getting paid. But right now, you're putting yourself out there and you're just not seeing the results that you want, or you're not putting yourself out there because you've just been so beat down by the results that you've been getting. So, whichever bucket you fall into, we are here this week to break you through to that next level of what you want. And you've gotten this far in your journey because you've already got some things that have taken you 90% of the way, let's say. And so the next 7 days is about teaching you how to access that last 10% of your potential so that you stand out from the competition and can go out there and land the big opportunities that you really want. So first now, I want you to get that having an elite singing career is not really about talent. It's not. At the level that most of you are playing at, everyone's got talent. And so what separates the men from the boys? What separates the badass singers from the superstars? It's all about energy. Energy, how you use your energy. So what do I mean by that? So your audience responds to your energy, not just your singing, not just your voice. But the audience is not the only thing that responds to your energy. Your voice also is responding to your energy as well, because the way you use your energy affects your voice. So this is not your instrument, okay? This is not your instrument. This, like, whole body is your instrument, not just your larynx and your vocal cords. Your whole body is your instrument as a singer. And just like a trombone player or a cello player, make sure that their whole instrument is in good working order. We need to make sure that our instrument, our whole body, is set up to make the biggest impact as efficiently as possible. Because your body cannot do what your brain is sabotaging. It cannot. And that is concept number 1 for today. Your body cannot do what your brain is sabotaging. Write it down. Your body, guys, it is built to respond to your brain in everything. Everything. Your body is only ever responding to your brain all day, every day. Your brain is managing and directing the functions of your body, your heart rate, your digestion, your basic functions, as well as it's interpreting your environment, making meaning out of your environment and your circumstance, telling you how to feel about it, which causes a physical reaction in your body. So when we have a thought or a feeling, it lives in the body. And we physicalize our thoughts and our feelings. It's just part of being human. It's what we do. So if you have a thought that really excites you, you get butterflies in your stomach. That's your body's physical response to that thought. If we have a thought that really scares us, we go into fight or flight. It's the human response to fear that all humans have had since the beginning of time, right? The bear walks into the cave and the caveman goes into his fear reaction, which will either be brace himself to fight the bear or flee. Run away from the bear. Both are physical reactions in the body to the circumstance of fear and what it's created. So your brain and your body, they're interfacing like this all day long in ways that you're present to and in ways that you're not. So let's say that you are just the teensiest bit insecure about a certain aspect of your voice. Like, for example, your high notes. Like, you've got them, you can do it. But there's always been that doubt and that inconsistency that lingers because it's just never been an easy part of your voice. And because of that, let's say now you're in a bigger audition or something, and that anxiety starts to creep in about an upcoming high note. Does anyone get that anxiety? Like, when it's time to deliver for the high note, tell me in the chat. This is where we get to be super honest and just air out all of our crap. Who gets like super anxious when it's time for the high notes? Like, oh my God, here it comes. Margaret, Cindy, Elizabeth, yep, Billy, Angela, exactly, you guys, okay? So like, this is common. Get that, okay? So guess what? When you're in that, your body is gonna physically react to that fear, that anxiety. And so here's what happens. High notes coming up. And your lizard brain, your amygdala brain, right, is going into its fight or flight. And in that moment, Like, you don't want to fail at the audition in that moment. It's like, if you fail at the audition, then all of a sudden you're not going to get the part. You're going to have to stay at your crappy day job forever. You're going to end up in regret, alone, having to, give up because you couldn't hack it, and then feeling not good enough, right? Like, that's where the dominoes fall. And you don't want to feel that way. And so your amygdala brain, your lizard brain, is in its fight or flight, because in that moment, it literally doesn't know the difference between botching that high note, ending up, the person who has to just, be the has-been or the what if or the never was. Your brain doesn't know the difference between failing at this thing that you want so badly and the bear that has come into the cave to eat you. It doesn't know the difference, okay? And so now you've gone into the fight or flight because you don't want to fail. And what that looks like, if your body's physical reaction to fear is fight, it looks like make, force, do, push, manipulate, control. And now all of that practice and all of that vocal technique that you otherwise know has gone out the window. And now you've actually made the sound that you were afraid of in the first place. And what's even worse is now you've had evidence that you're not good enough, that you can't do it. That feeds back into the next high phrase that you have to sing, the next audition you have to do. And now you're even more in your fight or flight because you don't want to fail even more. And so you go back into your make, force, do, push, manipulate, control. And all the technique that you otherwise have goes out the window. And now you've botched the high note again. And now you have even more evidence that you're not good enough, that you can't do it. And therein lies the loop. And it's the same if your fear reaction is to flee, by the way. So you hit that, you go in and you don't want to fail. And so now you're going to run away. You're going to flee. You're going to take your hands off the wheel. And same thing happens. All of that technique is now sabotaged. All of that practice and experience now sabotaged. And you end up singing the bad high note the way you were scared to. And now you have evidence you're not good enough. And it's same thing. Okay. Same thing. And this is what we call the negative feedback loop of fear. And guys, it is impossible to break if you don't understand how the mind-body connection in singing works. Because you are always reacting to your thoughts and your feelings, whether you realize it or not. It's just a part of being human. All people have physical reactions to our thoughts and feelings. And, if you're Joe Schmo, like in your data job, sitting at a computer all day, like, while physicalizing your thoughts and feelings, it may not be comfortable. It's not going to prevent him from doing his job. Okay. But for us, one of the ways that it massively prevents us from doing our job as a singer is all of that reacting, the physical reaction to thoughts and feelings. It causes tension. Tension is one of the ways that our body protects itself. It girds itself from uncomfortable thoughts or feelings, a fear of failure, a fear of being embarrassed, a fear of not being good enough, right? So whatever the cause and whatever the feeling, this physically lives in the body as tension. But as singers, it means that the physical reactions to our thoughts and our feelings also live in and affect our instrument, our whole instrument. And so for a professional singer whose body is her instrument, those physical reactions to those thoughts and feelings have a dramatic effect on you being able to do your job because of the tension it creates, and to do it at the most elite level. Because the physical reaction to your thoughts and feelings affects the energy, there's that word again, the energy that moves or doesn't move through your body and your instrument. And so remember, guys, sound is a form of energy, like light, like heat, and energy cannot be created or destroyed. That's the law of entropy. Do you guys remember high school physics? The law of entropy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just changes form, okay? And sound is a form of energy. And you have one job as a singer, one job, and that is to impact your audience. And if you're going to be a successful professional singer at an elite level, that impact has to be massive. So you stand out from the competition and they keep coming back for more. And the only way that that kind of massive impact happens is when you are the most open channel for energy in the form of sound to move through you to your audience. There cannot be any blocks in this channel of energy. So if you're not breaking through to the level of opportunity and singing career that you want, you are not making the impact you need. And that's because there are blocks in the energetic exchange between you and the listener, between you and your audience. Blocks that you don't realize. Because you have to get that, like, energy and vibrations, they need to flow freely through the body for optimum singing technique, for optimum sound, and maximum impact. And our body's physical responses, we were just talking about, to uncomfortable thoughts and feelings, whether it's conscious or subconscious, causes these blocks. And these blocks, they live in the body in the form of tensions that block the free flow of energy and sound from happening. And when they do that, they block your impact. And so what's going through your mind, both conscious and subconscious, matters. Guys, get this, it matters because it affects how your energy lives in and moves through your body. And it has a huge effect on your ability to tap into the fullest potential of your body, of your voice, of your talent, to use your technique to succeed in the ways that you want with your singing. So this brings me to concept number 2 for today. Energy is the link between the mind and the body. Write it down if you're following along in your masterclass workbook. Concept number 2. Energy is the link between mind and body. It is what creates the mind-body connection. And so if the body cannot do what the brain is sabotaging, then in order to stop the sabotage so that mind and body are working together when you sing, creating that big impact, then you've got to understand and align the energy that's creating the sabotage. So let me explain what I mean and how this works. The energy that many pro singers like you are in when you sing, regardless of if it's in an audition or a performance or recording, or even for a lot of you just practicing, the energy you're in usually comes from one underlying subconscious need, and that is the need to prove. The need to prove that you're good enough, that you belong on that stage, to prove your talent, to prove you belong there, that you're worthy, talented, lovable. Guys, none of us wants to admit this, and yet it's where the majority of you are operating from. So let's be real here. Guys, this is the place that we get to be real. Does anybody relate? Tell me in the chat, if you get real honest with yourself, how many of you feel like when you get up there and you finally get that audition or get on stage, that like you feel like you need to prove that you're good enough, that you belong there, that you're talented? Yeah, I see you in the chat. Donna, Pamela, Lynn, Danny. Yeah, Cherie, Alexandra. Yes. And see, most of the time, guys, it's not conscious, but it's the subconscious not enough thinking and energy that's driving the bus. Especially, by the way, if you've been at this for a while, if you've been, hustling for this for a long time, if you've been up for big opportunities, if you get into the final callbacks, or you have that record label meeting, and then they go with somebody else. And it's the what I call always the bridesmaid, never a bride thing. Do any of you have this experience? Tell me in the chat. How many of you feel like you're always the bridesmaid, never the bride? Like you get this far, but then you don't actually get the thing. It never actually works out for that big opportunity, that big break that will get you to that elite level career. Yeah. And guys, there are real feelings here, even real trauma there. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. To be working as hard as many of you are working, and to have put so much blood, sweat, and tears into this, making this career happen, this dream a reality, and to be in the mix this close, only to keep being passed over, it can be traumatic. And we feel like we're not enough. And we don't want to feel that. So you respond to that underlying subconscious need to feel like you're enough and prove that you're enough in either one of two ways. So the first way is with a very outwardly focused energy. So what that's like is like, it's like you've all seen these singers if you watch the competition shows like Idol, American Idol, or The Voice or whatever, and they get up there and they're just like, look at me, listen to me, and it's all very and like maybe they sound good, but you just want to tell them like, oh my God, like chill, like you know what I mean? Like you've all heard this. They're just trying so hard, and the audience can smell it a mile away. It's really uncomfortable to watch. It's always, look at me, listen to me, love me, you know? So that's one way that this manifests. And it sabotages their technique and their impact, by the way, because it makes them push. They push because they've got something to prove, and gosh darn it, they're going to give it to you. And they're going to just, they don't want to fail. And so they just overdo and they push and they blow everything out. And it just ends up sabotaging their technique and their impact and not being their best performance. Not to mention the fact that the audience feels accosted by their energy. It's like you just want to tell them, just like, oh my God, like stop trying so hard. And so now they've sabotaged their connection with their audience. Or the other way that we respond to this need to prove is by doing the opposite, is by pulling back our energy and receding and shrinking. And it sounds counterintuitive, but here's what happens. All right, like you finally got this big opportunity to sing, to prove your gifts to yourself, to others, to show what you can do. By the way, what you've done a million times on your own, practicing alone by yourself, right? But now the stakes are high. And the pressure to prove your worthiness can be so overwhelming for some people that it just becomes too much. And they shrink away from it in the moment. And when that happens, we back away from our technique. We stop trusting it. And we recede from it. And then we lose the efficiency in our body. So we don't access 100% of our potential of our sound. And then our performance suffers. Not to mention that the audience feels that wall go up. When you shrink back into yourself, they feel it. Like I'm sure you've all watched performers like this, and you can just see that they're like not there. They're singing, but there's like no connection. They're singing, but what their energy is broadcasting is contraction. It's like, don't look at me. Whether they mean it to or not, they've gone into the bunker. And now they've lost impact. And what did we just say? What is your number one job to make it at an elite level as a pro singer? Impact. Impact, right? So the need to prove is an example of what I call stinking thinking. Stinking thinking. The ways in which our mind sabotages our impact and our impact. Did I just say that right? Sabotages our instrument and our impact. And there's no way that you can be bulletproof to bring that massive impact with the stinking thinking going on, because it affects your energy in either of these two ways. Either it sabotages our sound and our technique because of how our body physically responds to it with tension, or it sabotages our ability to connect with our audience. And without both of those things in place, there's no way that your voice and your performance will make an impact. And without the ability to make an impact reliably and at a high level, you will not have the success as a singer that you want. And now you feel insecure. You feel less than. And then you don't act on your own behalf as powerfully as you otherwise would to go after opportunities. And you don't put yourself out there in ways that would really serve these higher level goals that you have. And then you stay stagnant. You stay stagnant and you stay stuck. So what do we do about it? What do we do about it? Well, first, we have got to change the thinking. Because when we change the thinking, we change the singing. That is where all of the breakthroughs that you want in your voice and in your technique and in your career live. And that's concept number 3 for today. Changing thinking equals changing singing. Write it down. Changing thinking equals changing singing. It is the backbone of everything that you're going to learn over the next week. Because, guys, I could give you the best technique in the world. And I've got some incredible technique that we're going to get into over the next few days. You are going to hear things and learn things that nobody has ever taught you technique-wise. But none of that matters. None of it matters if you don't get these concepts first. Why? Because your body cannot do what your brain continues to sabotage. So if we're going to change the singing, we have got to change the thinking first. Why? Because, say it with me, changing thinking equals changing singing. Guys, I will go, it will be on my headstone. It will be on my grave. I will tattoo it on my head. Okay? That is how important this is. Because do you ever notice how you always sing better when you're alone, like in the car or in the shower? Hit me in the chat if you notice that. Like you did your Grammy award-winning performance in the shower, and then you go into the audition and it's never as good, right? Any idea why that is, you guys? By the way, all my Grammy-winning performances have been in the shower until I learned about this, right? So do you guys know why that is? Tell me in the chat. Why is that? Why is it always better when you're just in the car and just jamming along, or you're in the shower and you're just like wailing it out? Yeah, because you're relaxed, because you're comfortable, you have not a care in the world, there's no pressure. Yes, because in those instances, you've got nothing to prove. There is nothing at stake. How you sing in those moments is not a reflection of your worth. There is no success or failure there. You're just trusting your instrument, trusting your talent, trusting your technique, because in that private moment, you are enough for yourself. Your thinking is making a meaning out of where you are and creating circumstances in your body that allow you to use your instrument and your technique for you instead of sabotaging them against you. And your thinking gives a different meaning to other circumstances, like those big auditions and performance opportunities, whether you realize it or not. Your thinking is creating a different meaning to those circumstances and creating a different outcome in your body, which sabotages your impact, which is why you're not breaking through. So keeping your instrument in optimum shape to access 100% of your potential for the biggest possible impact means understanding and addressing that part that your mindset plays in creating all of that in the first place, and then being intentional about training your mind. Why? Because, say it with me again, guys, I am going to drill this into you. Because your body cannot do what your brain is sabotaging. And this is why, by the way, so many of you also experience loads of tension when you sing. I'm curious, how many of you here, of all 100 of you who are here right now, how many of you suffer from a lot of tension when you sing? Could be jaw tension, neck tension, tongue tension, or oh, what about vocal fatigue? Anybody experience vocal fatigue? Like when you're gigging a lot, you get very vocally fatigued after like an hour gig. Yeah, oh my gosh, so many of you in the chat. Cherie, Tamika, Donna, Cindy, Angela, Dory. Yeah, okay. You guys, vocal fatigue is most often a byproduct of tension, okay? And tension in singers is caused by two main things. The first is improper breath support. And tomorrow we're going to get into some high-level breath support training. You guys, you think that you've been taught breath support before? I promise you that even with the tons of training that so many of you have had, there are things that you are going to hear tomorrow that you have never heard before. So super psyched about that and showing you that tomorrow. So don't miss tomorrow. But I could give you the best training on breath support, and it will not matter, and your body won't do it if your body is holding tension to try to protect you from failing and keep you safe. And here's what that looks like. So I have an idea. Let me have a guinea pig from some of you here. So of those of you who said you experienced a lot of vocal fatigue and a lot of tension, who here performs a lot and experiences a lot of that tension or vocal fatigue either during gigs or rehearsals or both. And use the raised hand function. Who here performs a lot, gigs a lot, and experiences a lot of either vocal fatigue or tension? You guys know where the raise hand function is? If you look in the reactions at the bottom, it's the little like heart-like thing. And if you click it, then you can see. Okay. So I need to see, hold on, I need to open the thing so I can see who's raising their hand, sorry. Okay. Okay, so I saw Micah's hand. So Micah, go ahead and unmute. And Mike and I are gonna have a little chat and I'm gonna help you see what this actually looks like. Hello, Micah. Can you go? Oh, where did Micah go?
Here I am.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Likewise,
Okay, so where do you experience tension? Where in your body? Is it neck, throat, jaw, torso? Where do you experience it?
my entire body, I tense up. Real quick, I'm the director of a barbershop chorus. I sing in three quartets. We've recently been to a whole bunch of training, and that's one thing that's always been I'm too tense. I don't relax when I sing because I try to be in proper position and proper technique and open airways and everything that we've always been told over the years. And I am as tense as a two by four.
Okay, I hear you. By the way, anybody else experience this? Give Micah some solidarity in the chat if you if you are also experiencing this. And and let me ask you, when do you experience this, Micah? Is it only when you're in these situations, like you were saying, when you were in this professional situation with the trainer or whatever, or is it like when you practice on your own or when you rehearse or just when you perform? Like when do you experience it?
In performance, it's usually during the first song that everything really tenses up and I can relax a little bit. It's fear, being in front of an audience. But even singing, with my quartet, I've got, three other people that are moving and swaying and bouncing to the music. And I am just as rock solid, making sure that, I'm in the proper vocal position and technique. And it's all those things running through my mind. I can't let go of the mind aspect.
Yeah. And I'm curious, how does this manifest in your sound in the sense that do you get vocally fatigued or do you experience issues with certain parts of your range or with stamina or like how does it manifest?
I don't have as much issue with vocal tension. I'm usually good for about a 3 hour show as a director.
Mhm.
And I get to do a lot of calisthenics, and that helps open things up a little bit. But I don't think that I have the overall range that I would want. It is tight in the upper and the lower.
Okay. Yeah. But that makes sense, right? Because if your whole being, like you said, is just in this, because you want to get it all right, what I'm hearing. You want to get it right. You want to do it right. You want it to come out right. You want it, I get it. And and so can I ask, where are you with the barbershop stuff now? Are you doing it professionally or doing paid gigs? Are you doing festivals? Like where are you with all of it?
My local chapter, we do a lot of community outreach with adult assisted living facilities. And even then, in speaking to the engaging the audience, a lot of our audiences don't seem to be really engaged, which makes us second guess our ability. But I also sing with another chapter that's a competition chorus, and they do very well in the competition, and I enjoy singing with them. Our quartets range from anywhere from singing at county fairs to singing competitions.
Mhm.
So I've got a wide range with each individual group that I sing with,
Right,
that are all different.
right. And so one of the things you said that just stuck out to me was, we don't get the reception that we often want, and that makes us second guess ourselves. And so may I ask, like, how often does that stop you from maybe putting yourself out there for a bigger opportunity that might get more exposure or be better paid? Or how often does that affect the rate that you would ask for to be paid? And maybe get, feeling like you're worthy to make more. You know what I'm saying? Like, how often is it affecting these decisions and what you would really want? Well, I guess I should ask you first. Like, what do you really want from this? Like, what would light you up?
I would love to do this overall professionally.
Okay.
But yeah, the mindset changes with each individual performance.
Oh, yeah, you're a
We,
weather vane. You're like,
we are. Uh,
yeah.
we kicked off a performance and it was absolutely wonderful. And then we signed on for a well-paying gig that was at an assisted living, and we had three out of about 50 people that were actually engaged with us. So we came back and it's like, do we need to relearn our music? Do we need to start over?
Right,
Because this was a complete disaster as far as we were concerned.
right. And like, because you are an ensemble, obviously you're saying we, but I really want to focus on you, Micah, right? Because you said, I want to be able to do this professionally. Like, I want to be able to quit the day job and be able to do this full time. And so if if you don't do this well, if you don't get it right, if you can't break through and make that connection and get past these blocks that are stopping even you personally, because one person can make more of a connection and that could tip the scales. You know what I'm saying? So like if you're not able and things just kind of stay the way they are, what's your biggest fear, if I can ask?
Losing my connection to the music world. I've been burnt out a couple times and I've walked away from it a couple times, and I keep coming back, but the next time we have a poor performance or a bad issue, do I walk away and not look back?
Mhm. And so if you lose your connection and if you walk away, fill in the blank, then that would mean, like, what would that mean?
Unfortunately, be that music would die in our house. I have a bunch of kids. They're all musically inclined and a heck of a lot better than I am. Um, but yeah, I've kind of been the role model pushing the music and keeping that a cappella alive.
Mhm.
There's a lot of styles of music that I don't consider as much music as melodies, harmonies, and things like that, and the blending between the groups. So
Right. So,
personally, it would be horrible to lose my connection with music.
and so if you lost the connection to music and you were no longer the role model in your house, then what's the story that your mind is telling you about what does that mean about you?
Oh, at the time of failure, I've been doing music most of my life, and if I can't do it well, then what am I doing?
Mhm. And so do you guys see, and by the way, thank you, Micah, for being so vulnerable. Do you see where these dominoes are falling? So there's a reason why there's tension, Micah, in the body and why you're freezing up. Because doing well in this one show, the first song, the first things that you sing, and you're desperately trying to get it right. Like, by the way, does perfectionism resonate with you? Yeah. Who here in the chat? Perfectionism? Anyone? By the way, I am one of the world's biggest recovering perfectionists. So like I relate to this, okay? It's the mind has convinced you that if you're perfect, then you won't have to lose the music again. You won't have to fail. You won't have to walk away. And then you won't have to feel like a failure. And so in that one moment of that first song, of that first gig, the make or break, the monkey mind, what I call the monkey mind, your ego, your inner critic mind, is playing this thing out in that moment. Got to get it right, got to do everything, and you're completely spinning the technique, this, that, da, 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 da. And it's literally like analysis paralysis. And the body just goes like this. And now you've broken that connection, all because the mind has convinced you that if you are perfect and do all those things and get it right in that moment, then you won't have to be out of integrity in your household, encouraging your kids to do the thing that you're not doing anymore, and how crappy that feels, you know? So, of course, the body and the mind do not want to experience this. But there's a reason, guys, why Mike is experiencing this tension. His body is literally trying to control the outcome so that he does not fail in those moments. Because failing at that literally means that he's no longer the role model in his household, that he's failed, and how he's seen in his family and how he sees himself, and ultimately what that means about him. And so Micah, your ego-minded, does not want to feel that. It does not want to experience that. And so your body is now going to try to do everything possible to try to control that outcome so that you don't have to fail and end up being out of integrity and losing the music as you're in your home and feeling like a failure. And that's what creates an overwhelming amount of the tension and the audience disconnect that you're experiencing when you perform. And it's what's cutting off your impact. And it's why things are very inconsistent, and that you're not doing this full time right now at that higher level with those opportunities that you really want. And so, by the way, guys, like, hand for Micah for being so open and sharing his experience with us. So in that moment, Micah, do you get how this is like what's playing in breaking this mind-body connection and breaking this impact? Yeah. I don't know if you were trying to unmute. Let's see. I can do that. I
Oh,
can do
there,
that. There you are. I can do it for you in a second.
working with a cell phone, technologically, not advanced.
You got it.
Uh,
You got it. It's all good. But
yeah,
like, what comes up for you when you hear me kind of explain this out?
I've always felt that there was, a mind-body connection, and getting over that, all of the technique, everything that we've learned over the years, all the things that run through your mind versus doing the best job you can. That's, I don't know how to get over that mental mindset.
Right. And these things are connected because in that moment, your mind is also going to, well, your mind is already doing this. If I just get the breath more right, if I just get the technique thing more on point, your mind is focused on the perfectionism of all these things. But the reason why body is not able to bring 100% of that potential is because mind has created this thing that it has to be perfect in order for you not to fail. And it has set you up for disaster because there's no such thing as perfect. And so now you're trying to achieve a thing that is literally impossible to do, literally impossible to do. And your awareness knows that. And it's terrifying because every time you get up to perform, it's being asked to do something that is literally impossible to do. And your body is responding to that, right? So no fear. Never, I was gonna say not to fear, not to worry. We're gonna work through, you're gonna give you some really good tools to help to like break through the cracks in the plaster and all of this week. So I'm really excited for you to start to experience some of this. So you guys give Micah a big hand. Thank you for being willing to share and parse out how this is affecting you. And you guys get, right, that like no amount of cutting edge technique that I give him, no matter how hardcore we were to work it, will help. He will still have tension. And so will the rest of you who have experiences with tension in the body. When you sing, tension in the voice, you will still have tension unless the root of the tensions are addressed in the moment of singing. Like, do you guys ever feel that you intellectually understand what your voice teacher is telling you? Like, intellectually, you completely get what they're asking you to do, but your body in the moment is like, nope, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Anybody ever feel that way? Oh, I see you guys coming in the chat. Yep. And so, you guys, it's because vocal technique is not optimized in a vacuum. It's not. You've got to get present to the thinking going on behind the singing to be bulletproof and tap into that last 10% of your potential. Reliably stand out from the competition and make the kind of impact with your singing that gets those big opportunities that you really want. So, to that end, in order that you get the best possible results from the techniques that I'm going to teach you this week, and we are going to really get into like hardcore techniques this week. But in order that you get the results you want out of them so that you can embody them more quickly and so that you can get the breakthroughs that you came here for, I'm giving you two things to do tonight to start setting the foundation for your mindset. So the first is a guided meditation for present moment body awareness. So cultivating present moment awareness, that's the first and most important thing that you have to do to create a strong mind-body connection for singing. So curious, how many of you here have meditated before? Tell me in the chat. Say yes if you've meditated before. I'm curious. How many existing meditators do we have? Angela, Alexa, Alexandra, Rob, Candy, Cindy. Oh, we have a lot of existing meditators. Fantastic. Does anyone here like totally new to meditation? Put new in the chat if you're new. And it's totally cool. You don't have to have any experience with meditation to do what we're going to do. I'm curious. Who's new? Leanne, Anna, Fami, Vicky. Okay. I love, first of all, that you are not shy about saying, yeah, I'm new, because there's zero judgment. Zero judgment. I'm super glad that you're willing to just be like, yes, I'm new. Okay. So whether you have meditated before or whether you have never meditated, you are new to this, what you guys are going to do is you're going to do this meditation today after we wrap. It's about 20 minutes and it's guided. So, and I'm giving you an MP3 to download. It is in your Masterclass workbook. So it's in the day one homework in the Masterclass workbook. You can download the guided meditation there. And I suggest finding a comfortable place to sit where your back and your body are supported. I don't recommend lying down for these meditations unless you have physical limitations, which make it difficult for you to sit for 20 minutes or so at a time. So find a comfortable chair or a cushion where you can sit. Guys, there is no wrong or right way to experience a meditation. It's no right or wrong, okay? And you may find that your mind wanders to your to-do list or a difficult conversation you just had or what you're going to make for dinner or some other distraction. And you may realize that you missed what the guide was saying. And this is normal, okay? This is normal, especially if you have never meditated before. And so when this happens, what I like to do is just label it thinking and bring your awareness back to the guide's voice. So, and you guys, I have a decades plus meditation practice, and still my mind will wander to my to-do list or the fight that I had with my daughter or whatever. And I notice it when I am like, oh my God, I'm in my to-do list or I'm in replaying the conversation. And I say out loud in my brain, I say, oh, thinking, okay. Bring myself back to the guide, back to the voice. And you might realize you do this like 25 times in the meditation. Great, great. Because what you're doing in these meditations and why it's so integral is because it's teaching you how to be totally present and just witness. Witness the thoughts, witness the body, just learning how to notice what is present, that is present in the moment. And when you drift, how to bring yourself back. Because this is how we build this rock solid mind-body connection. Most of you are all up here, right? Usually the mind has an agenda that keeps you from being present. Because the mind is usually busy in one of two places. Either busy shaming you about the past, replaying all the things that didn't go the way you wanted, the conversation that happened the way you didn't want, the thing that you didn't do well, whatever it is, shaming you about the past, or it's busy tripping out over the future. How am I going to pay my rent? What am I going to do in that audition? How's that high note going to go? Am I ever going to get married and have kids? Whatever it is, okay? The mind is rarely in the present moment with you. But the body The body is always in the present moment. So when we teach the mind how to be present in the moment with the body, now we're setting up an efficient mind-body connection for your singing. Now we're setting up that open channel for energetic impact, okay? So now your mind is reacting to the present moment of your body instead of, like Micah's example, instead of your body reacting to all the subconscious crap going on in your mind. And so this meditation is designed for singers to help you get present in your body and help you identify and let go of what's going on in your mind that's living in your body and impacting your sound that you may not realize. And this is the first building block for a rock solid mind body connection for singing. And then I am also giving you what we call a thought exercise to do tonight. So a thought exercise is like, it's kind of like a journaling exercise to help you get better aware of your thinking. So I do them all the time with the singers in our flagship intensive training program, and they are a very, very powerful tool to help you gain a new awareness about what's been going on for you, both on stage and off, that's affecting you in ways that you would not otherwise realize. So tonight, the thought exercise I'm giving you is for mind-body clarity connection. So what you're going to do is you're going to do your meditation, and then afterwards, you're going to do your thought exercise tonight. And if possible, I recommend doing them back to back. The meditation is only about 20 minutes, and then just keep your journal and maybe print out whatever the thought exercise PDF, and the thought exercise is also in our Masterclass workbook. So you can download the PDF and print it out, and then just journal on it right after your meditation while your energy is very open and clear. And so the meditation is something that you should do each day this week. This is not a one and done thing, okay? And so if you've been with us in a prior workshop, don't get sucked into that mindset of, oh, I already know this. I've done this before, and then skip it. No, do it again. Do it again. You will hear things differently if it's been 6 months, 9 months since the last time you did it. You are in a different place energetically, and you will explore and experience different things than the last time, okay? So do it again. This time, go deeper. And same thing with the thought exercise. Approach the thought exercise and the meditation from a new intention of where you are right now in this moment. Because we're talking about creating new neural pathways here, guys, to link mind and body. And that requires conditioning. It requires repetition. So if you've done it before, do it again. And if you're new to it, dive in with curiosity. And so everyone do both the meditation and the thought exercise tonight, and then do the meditation each day this week. And go post in our Facebook group to celebrate that you have been accountable to it. And so I can celebrate you too. So you guys, we have the private Facebook group, which is our Pro Singer Success Collective Facebook group. Ashley, if you wouldn't mind grabbing the link to the Facebook group and putting it in the chat for everybody. Most of you probably already are in the Facebook group because it's a big part of how we're going to give you information and celebrations and all that kind of stuff throughout this week-long masterclass series. But if you're not in the Facebook group, Ashley just put the link in the chat, request that, and we'll get you in there. So we're big here on celebrating. And what a celebration is honoring that which you are proud of and you have done well. And no celebration is too small. So when you do the thought exercise and you do your meditation, I want you to go into the Facebook group and I want you to post a GIF. I love my funny GIFs of like babies dancing and like whatever you want, okay? Post a GIF that says, day 1 meditation done, thought exercise done, and celebrate yourself for your accountability, your coachability, and your commitment to the change that you want to see. Most of us are very focused on what we don't have yet, what isn't working right, what we can't do, what hasn't happened yet, right? And we're not taught to celebrate the little milestones along the way, the yards at a time that we are moving, that get us where we want to go. And so what happens is that all we see is what we don't have, what isn't here yet, what isn't happening yet. And if we're not celebrating the little things that we're doing that are creating small incremental change, then we don't think anything is working and we give up before we even have created the kind of results that are game changing. Okay. So I want to start you on a diet of celebrations. When you do your meditation, when you do your thought exercise, go into the chat in the Facebook group and post, I did my meditation, and be proud of it. It's not boasting. It's just honoring the truth of what you're creating. And when we do, throughout this week, I'm going to give you vocal exercises and things to work on and practice and train. Same thing. I will tell you to go celebrate in the group. And you guys, I'm not doing this for my health. I have seen time and time and time again that when you are accountable to a community and you are accountable to honoring what you're contributing, you get results faster. So I'm really going to encourage you to do that tonight. Okay. Let's see. The other cool thing about the Facebook group is I want to hear what your experience has been like with the meditation, how it's going, or also post if you have questions about it so that I can support you. So if you're doing the meditation and I don't know, you're having a strange experience with it, or something you're curious about or you're unsure about, post the question in the Facebook group so that we can support you. Don't just give up on the meditation. Okay. Same thing with the thought exercise. If you're doing the thought exercise and you find that you have some resistance to it, you don't want to do the journaling, you find some resistance, don't just suffer in silence and don't just not do it. Post in the group, ask for support, and I will give it to you. Okay. So again, you can find tonight's homework, both the meditation and the thought exercises, in the Masterclass workbook. We have a few minutes for Q&A. Let's keep the Q&A to the topic that we have been talking about today, which is about mind-body connection and these kinds of things, because we're going to dive into all the breath support, we're going to dive into artistry, we're going to dive into vocal health, we're going to dive into all that kind of stuff later on in the week. So use the raise hand function in the chat if you have a question or were wondering something about what we've been discussing today, having to do with mind-body connection, or even if you've noticed certain tensions and things that you're experiencing and you're wondering how they're manifesting for you. Yeah, Estelle, I see your hand. Go ahead and unmute. Did I pronounce your name right, Estelle? I hope I did.
Hi. Yes, for Estelle. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, great.
I had a question. Can food possibly cause any kind of tension, like certain foods that you would avoid?
No, not unless you have an actual documented allergy, like if you're allergic to, I don't know, whatever, right? Or if you have diagnosed reflux, GERD, but other than that, so, and thank you for asking this question, so I get it all the time. And I don't know if any of you saw this post. It was I don't know, a couple months ago, so maybe you didn't, but I did this post where it was a graphic and it was like a conversation, like a script conversation, and it was singer. I think it's because of the air conditioning. Me. No, it's your breath support. Singer. I think it's because I ate dairy. No, it's your breath support. Singer. I think it's because, you know what I'm saying? And so most of the time, so you can eat whatever you want. And the difference of eating dairy or having a spicy meal or whatever is so marginal versus the technique issues that are really the problem. And you guys, I eat whatever I want. I eat dairy. I can have Thai food, spicy Thai food, whatever, and I can sing like a queen because I know how to use my body and I know how to use my mind-body connection, and I have reliable technique that gets me there. So now that doesn't mean that I don't love singing on a full stomach, like a super full stomach. So if I have to do a show, I'm going to eat maybe an hour and a half before, but that's just me, if you're somebody who prefers not to have dairy, so don't do it. You know what I'm saying? But I just want you to know that the dairy or sleeping in the air conditioning or whatever, like it's such a marginal difference that it makes in your voice and performance, as opposed to like, let's get your mind body connection on, let's get your technique foundation on. Those are the things. And most of the time singers use these other things. And I'm not saying you're doing that still, but singers use these other things like, oh, what am I eating? How am I sleeping? Whatever. And they're not actually addressing the real problem, which is the bulletproof technique and mind body connection. Make sense? Because like when you have that, you can pretty much eat whatever you want, you can do whatever you want. And it's not going to make a difference unless, like I said, you have a diagnosed like real allergy to dairy, or a diagnosed real allergy, or like you have GERD or something like that. So good question. Yeah. Cherie.
Hi. I just wanted, I'm a little embarrassed, but I see the meditation, I click on it, I put in continue Google, and then it says personal, professional, and I can't find the actual, because I know when I used to use MP3s, I had to buy the thing and stick it in the computer. I don't have that, so I don't need that for this.
No, you you should just be able to click the meditation and it opens. Did it open in the Google Drive?
It opened in Dropbox. That's the problem.
Yeah, so that's fine. So it opened in Dropbox, and all you got to do is click the download button in Dropbox, and it'll download to your device, either your computer.
I didn't see the download, but I'll look again because I'm afraid I'm going to get off and then still not know how to do it.
So Ashley, will you do me a favor? Will you give Cherie your admin email address in the chat? And Cherie, if you're still having problems later, shoot
Okay.
Ashley an email and she'll troubleshoot with you over email. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Of course, of course. All right, guys. Any other questions before we call it a day so you can go and do your meditation and your thought exercise? All right. You guys are rock stars. Celebrating you all for being here for day one. Oh, do I have another question? Terry, yes.
Yes, my question is, it said that if you want volunteers, you might want volunteers. I don't quite understand how to do the audio. I know you have to press something if you need to volunteer. Where do you do that and how do you do that?
So you're talking about the original sound?
Original sound, yes.
Okay.
I always get mixed up with that.
Are you on a laptop, a desktop, an iPhone, an iPad? What kind of device are you on?
A laptop.
Okay. So I will literally tell you how to turn it on right now. And those of you who have laptops, you can follow along. If you need the instructions for like a mobile device, Ash, will you put the link to the video for people in the chat for mobile devices, either iPad or iPhone? Okay, so go up to the top of your computer where it says Zoom Workplace.
Yes.
Okay, click Zoom Workplace and then click Settings. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
And then when it opens up, click Audio. It's the third one down. And then if you scroll down where it says Audio Profile, you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So you see where it says Original Sound for Musicians. It's the third one down.
Yes.
Enable that. Click it so it's blue. And then underneath that, make sure high fidelity mode is not checked.
Okay.
But do check echo cancellation and stereo audio. Okay. Now close that window. Now, when you're in.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Close the window. Oh yeah, I got it. Yep.
Okay, now come back to your Zoom screen. And if you look at the top of the Zoom screen now, where it says recording up at the top right, next to it, it'll say original sound for musicians. And it'll say off.
I don't see it.
So the window that we're in right now.
Right.
Okay. So if you look at the top where all the participants are, and then up at the top.
Oh, yes. Yes, I see.
Now it says original sound for musicians. You see it?
Yep.
And now it says off.
Yep.
If you wanted to volunteer and sing, you would click that to on.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay, thank you.
So for those of you who are on mobile devices, like on your phone or on your iPad, you cannot do the process that I just said to her to enable original sound for musicians by going to settings and stuff, you can't do that while you're in an active meeting right now. She could do it because she was on a laptop desktop. If you're on an iPad or an iPhone, you need to follow the instructions when you're not in the Zoom meeting. And then the next time you come into the Zoom meeting, you will look at the three dots on the bottom and click the three dots, and it'll give you the option to turn original sound on. That's the difference between whether you're on a computer or on a mobile device. You can't enable the setting while you're in a live meeting if you're in a mobile device. Okay, good. I'm glad you asked about that.
Thank you.
Because I probably some other people wondering.
Might still need a little on the steps. I got through Zoom workplace and setting. Might need a few more steps there. We're getting there.
Well, no. Did you see original sound for musicians at the top of your screen?
Yes.
At the top of the Zoom window? Yeah, you're done. You don't have to do anything else.
Oh, it's like on there for now. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it'll be there from now on. Oh yeah, no,
Beautiful.
once it's enabled in the settings, you don't have to do it every time. Next time you come into the meeting, that little original sound will be up there at the top, and you will just put it to on instead of off.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Okay, Sandra, question. Sandra, where are you? Go ahead and unmute. Okay, if you're having trouble unmuting, I'm gonna go to Leanne and then we'll come back to you. Just tell us in the chat when you're able to unmute. Leanne.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Okay, so I was following along with you trying to get the Zoom thing to, so that we can participate. And I clicked on that Zoom thing at the top and like absolutely nothing came up. And now my whole screen is like totally, totally different. All the people are down at the bottom.
So I'm guessing that you probably didn't click the right thing at the top. So if you're looking at the window of your Zoom where all of us are and the chat and everything, right?
Right.
Right now, I don't want you to be at the top of that. I want you to look at the top of your computer. And are you on a Mac or on a PC?
Oh, okay. Hold on. I see it now. Zoom Workplace, it says in the top left-hand corner.
Exactly. Click that.
Right click or left click?
Just normal click. So that the drop down, because you want to click it so a drop down menu comes down.
That's what I'm telling you. Nothing comes down.
Then you might do the other kind of click.
Okay. I double clicked. Okay, it says restore, minimize, keep on top, or close.
That's what you see in Zoom Workplace?
Yep, when it says Zoom Workplace, and I asked them to, I right clicked, that's all that came up. That's what I'm saying. I didn't get that.
Right. Okay. So I think Ashley can help you troubleshoot this. I use it like a trackpad on my laptop. I don't know, right click, left click. I don't know.
Okay, you use the pad. I get what
I
you're
just
saying.
know that when I hover over Zoom Workplace and I click, I get a drop-down menu with everything I need.
And I don't.
Okay. So that perhaps maybe Ashley can help you troubleshoot with that.
Left click, left click, left click.
Okay.
I did left click and still nothing comes down. I left click twice and it's just going to full screen or not full screen.
Okay. So maybe there's a little something that we need to in your particular computer that's not quite hooking in. But here's the thing with original sound, you guys, is like Zoom does all this background noise cancellation like just automatically. And so the reason that we want to be able to have original sound for musicians is that it's the actual sound. It's not, there's no background noise cancellation. There's no, like none of that. And so it really helps us to be able to hear. So I hope you can get it sorted. Also, I'm going to suggest, Leanne, to maybe reach out to Zoom support because it sounds like maybe there's something got a little funky, that maybe you clicked on something that didn't work right or something when you were trying to do it the first time, because it's very straightforward when I do it. It's very straightforward. I just click on the workplace. It's a drop-down menu. It's where I just want to go into settings. You click in settings. So it sounds like maybe something got funky.
Is it settings for the computer or settings for Zoom?
No.
It's for Zoom. Well, I'm in the library and the tech guy gave me his laptop because I was having a problem with mine. A library laptop. So tomorrow when I come in here, I'm like in a private room and everything, so it's quiet. When I come in tomorrow, I will show him, I have your manual printed out and I will show him that and I'll say, this is what we're trying to do, and he'll be able to help me, I
Yeah,
guess.
because we're not changing the settings on your computer or his computer.
Right.
We're changing the Zoom settings of
Right.
Zoom for
Right.
your account. When you log into Zoom, we're changing the audio settings.
Right.
That's all.
So you don't get the clip sound because they're limiting the background. Yeah, I understand all that. I'll just have him do it. I'll have him show me.
It's all good. No, I'm glad you guys are asking questions about this because honestly, I'd rather spend the time to explain it now than using up time in the sessions where we're trying to coach technique and we can't hear you and then you don't have your settings set and I say, okay, then we have to move over to the next person. I'm sorry, because I hate doing that, but we can't, waste time, Okay, guys. So go do your meditation, go do your thought exercise, get your mind body clarity on so that when we dive into technique tomorrow and we're going with some like awesome game-changing breath support stuff tomorrow, your body and your mind is going to be in a different place to start to integrate it. Okay. All right, everybody, go enjoy the rest of your day. I am going to go pick up my daughter and I will see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. All right, everybody. Bye.